This was once the staircase where we were ordered to keep our hands behind our back while male gender walk up, female gender walk down, not allowing us to touch each other, which was ordered by staff, now abandoned today. These were the hallways, grabbing contraband from each other and running across to each other's room in a playful manner, which was not allowed through these hallways, now abandoned today. In 2001, a report was filed for 30 center residents escaping from Lincoln Place. Lincoln housed nearly 200 children and teens from the ages of 8 to 18, being placed under referral by either juvenile courts or children's service boards from counties around the state. Through Portage County Children's Services, I was placed here for defiance, unruliness, and skipping school. Here's what it was like behind these walls during my time here when it was thriving during my residency. If you've ever seen the movie Girls Incarcerated, Young and Locked Up on Netflix, this is exactly how the facility that I'm about to discuss was ran and operated. It was ran and operated to keep children off the streets, out of trouble with the law, and show them strict discipline. Let's get into this Lincoln Place residential center where I stayed. It was in Youngstown, Ohio, and it was called Lincoln Place Children's Residential Center. It was ran like a jail. When I tell you, you either had to go to juvenile court for doing something wrong, much like today, pretty much your parents can call the police and have you sent to juvenile. That was used as a juvenile lockup facility. When I tell you, my social worker threatened me and kept saying, "Keep it up, Celestine. I'm going to lock your ass up. I'm going to throw your ass in jail. I'm going to lock you up. I'm going to throw your ass in jail." And what did she do? She threw my ass right in Lincoln Place. And when I got there, I was like, okay, jail. But let me tell you, once I was there for like a day and a half, I saw why it was like jail. Like, what? So, first to start off, we did the process, and I'll never forget, at the time, my social worker's name was Rosemary Stegg. And she was from Portage County Children's Services. Like, I remember her name, her first and last name. Like, I've even tried to look her up on Facebook. I don't even think she has Facebook or on Instagram, just to see maybe she got married or something and that's not her last name or something. But I never forget calling her voicemail for gift cards, for vouchers for clothes, because that's just how children's services worked when you wanted new clothes or wanted something from them, or Christmas gifts when Christmas was coming. Because all I remember is, "Hi, you reached Rosemary Stegg of Ravenna Children's Services. Right now, I'm currently not at my desk right now, but if you would leave a message, I'll get back to you at my earliest convenience." Yeah, why I remember that, I don't know. But I'll never forget it. Like, so Rosemary Stegg took me in her white Jeep and drove about 2 hours from, I believe it was Akron, Ohio, to Youngstown, Ohio. And when we got there, the first thing we did was we went in the office and we finished off the paperwork for her to be able to drop me off and intake me into the facility. Like, when you first walked in, there was like this big sun in the entrance and it said Lincoln's Place Children's Residential Center. Like, when you first walk in, if I could find a picture, because the place is abandoned now, I'll definitely try to show it to you. But I remember there was a big ass bright sun and it said Lincoln's Place Residential Center. If I find it, you'll see it up on the video as I'm talking about it. Once we got there and did the intake, there was a process for like making sure you didn't AWOL within the first 2 weeks. When you got there, when we got done with the process, she left the office and I was still sitting in the office waiting for someone from the CRT team. If you don't know what CRT is, that's Critical Response Team, which was basically just a staff member that they came down and got me. And Critical Response Team was responsible for like the fights, like if there was fighting or we heard thumping, or we would always hear yelling, arguing, thumping going on the floor above us. and all you would see was like the CRT team booking, rushing to go see what children are fighting or what floor it was on, and you would hear their walkie-talkies chirping back and forth, and you could hear a whole bunch of walkie-talkies just trying to figure out what wing of the building, west, east, south, north, what wing. And you just seen the critical response staff just running to go de-escalate the fight or do whatever they need to do to restrain the children. It was crazy. So like there was CRT team, and then there was like it was a lot going on, y'all. When I tell you, let me tell you, when you first get done with intake, they take you to your floor. I never forget, the floors were alphabetical. I remember the unit, the very specific unit I was on. I was on C unit, okay? And you know, 50 Cent was a thing back then. So if you were on G unit, they would be like, G unit. All the boys and the females were on the floors, G unit or G unit, because they was on G unit, and 50 Cent was a thing back then. I was on C unit. I believe the floors were broken up alphabetically, like G unit, A unit, B unit, C unit, like, but it was like age range or based off of whatever you did, whether you were an AWOLer, a defiant, school skipping. I don't know how it was, but they broke it up somehow, some way. So like the first 2 weeks when we leave the office and she walks me to the floor where I'm gonna be, she walks me in, and I don't even know why this picture wasn't even shown, but it's a TV on the wall. I'm remembering this by heart in my mind. I'm playing it all over again. There's a TV, you first walk in the door, there's a TV on the wall to the right of you, and then there's steel tables like you're actually in a prison. And then there's this long table with chairs all around it where people would sit and do their arts and crafts. And then there was a hallway and an office where you would do phone calls when you wanted to get your phone calls. Honey. And then there was AWOLers, which meant you was a runaway. And to prevent that, when you first get done with your intake and they walk you to your floor, they take your shoes, okay? Literally, like, take your shoes. I thought it was shoestrings, but it's not shoestrings. They take your actual shoes for 2 weeks and give you these ugly ass Bob Parker sandals. Yes, those. They give you these ugly ass Bob Parker sandals, a Bob Parker toothbrush. I remember it to the T. And you had to wear those for 2 weeks when you first arrived, when they took your shoes, just to ensure that you don't AWOL. And I ain't gonna lie, some people was still AWOLing with them on. They didn't care. They were trying to get up out of there. I was there for 6 months. So, like, when I tell you, some people was wearing, like, the thong Bob Barkers, walking around looking like they had camel feet. Oh, my God. They was, like, and you know, camel feet look crazy. So I'm talking about they toes in between the thong sandals, how they supposed to wear it, but with the damn socks on. And you know, when you wearing thong sandals with socks on, it look like you got camel feet. And people was just flip-flopping and clip-clopping all around the damn hallways and all around the facility in them bitches all day long. And that's what we wore within the facility. We didn't wear our shoes. We wore those Bob Barker flip-flops, either the thongs or the sandals. I specifically wore, like, the sandals. So yeah. All right, when you woke up in the morning, you had chores and points that you could get. When I say chores and points that you could get, I mean, I don't remember if it was 300 points, 150 points, or 600 points. But either way, you got points for making the bed, doing your chore. It could be going in the bathroom to clean the stall, making your bed, making sure your clothes are tidy, making sure you line up correctly and go down to breakfast. If you went down to breakfast and got your lunch or your breakfast correctly, then you got points for that. Now, what lunch looked like, you had to... We always drank guzzlers. Like, I don't know if y'all know about the guzzler 20-ounce bottles of juices. We got that every day. That was never a miss. Like, every day for drink, you would get a guzzler with your meal. And some people didn't drink their guzzlers, or they would trade off flavors or whatever the case would be. Some people was like trading off their trays. Like, we really was like in a prison facility. Like, it was some people over there talking about,
you gonna eat your cornbread.
Don't say that. You talking to me?
Yeah, for your tray. Like, really, because there were no seconds. So like, let me tell you what some of the personalities was like. I'm gonna tell you what I was like when I was staying there. I was the kid that sat off in the back, didn't bother anybody, read books. I stayed getting all of my points. And so like, when you would get your points, you got to go out to eat every weekend or to the movies. Or either it was to the movies and out to eat. I can't remember the restaurant that we went to, but I know that we went to a restaurant and at least to the movies every week. Or if you wanted to go somewhere like to a hair store and pick up hair, to do hair, braid your hair, braid other people's hair, they would spend money out of the petty cash to make sure we got whatever we needed. I guess petty cash is just something that a facility like that keeps when they're housing children, or they're just an entity or a group home or something. So like, that's how that was ran. Now, when it came, we had Medline. Like, we were lining up, going, oh my God. The formation was always everybody in single file. Like, it was like, all right, lunchtime. And I felt like, damn, preschool, elementary, everybody get in line. And then they counting, it was like 22 people each floor. So like, they were counting, making sure everybody was there, everybody was lined up one behind the other, and then they would open the door, and then we'd all single file. And as we're going to the cafeteria, like I said in the beginning of the intro, the males were to walk up and the females were to walk down, or if we were coming down, they were going up, and our hands had to be behind our back, and we were not to touch each other at all. That was the rule. And so, man, it was so crazy when I stayed there. When I tell you, like, sometimes we was getting staff in and out, people were getting fired, laid off, all kind of stuff. And the guy who owned the building was a millionaire, I think. I forgot his name, but he owned the building. And we were hearing rumors like he was a millionaire, but he wasn't paying something with the building, so the building was going out of business real soon. And around that time, it did end up shutting down, which was what you heard in the intro. Something about they were millionaires and they weren't paying something, or wasn't doing something, and the business had to shut down, or they weren't paying for certain stuff that needed to be paid for to keep the children housed. And he just did not give two shits about how it was being ran anymore. He just basically abandoned the business. Now, there were rumors that staff members were molesting other girls in the building, having sex with some of the residents. That was a rumor that was going around. I don't know how true or how false it is. Some people were just getting laid off. People were complaining and saying that the people had touched them or did something to them. That was a rumor and something that was going on inside of the walls of that building. It was just a lot. Like, I was the child that sat in the back and was either in a book or finding something to watch on TV, or conversating with whatever associate I had found to conversate at the time. There was Medline. We used to get in line, single file, and go to the Medline in the morning. I was definitely on meds, because you know, when you in foster care, they throw you on meds for whatever reason. They don't never, I never knew what my diagnosis was for being on meds, but I was on meds for like no reason. Like, I think I was taking Depakote ER and Ritalin at the time. I don't know. It was weird. But I know my Depakote ER was for depression. And I don't even think I was really depressed. I had nothing. Well, I was going through a lot and being passed through a lot of foster homes. And at the time, I was in that facility. So that might have probably been just in case for good cause, because whatever. But I sat in the back, read my book. You would, like, some of the residents there would come up to you and be like, girl, you always getting your points. I'm gonna sit back here in the back with you and read books. What you over there reading? Next week, what? Not next week, not this week, because I already lost my points. But next week, I'm gonna sit with you and hang with you, because you always getting your points. You don't never. I didn't get my points one time, and that was because I almost had gotten into a fight in the Medline. And I believe I was about to get into a fight with this girl named Ashley Larnad. I don't remember what she did, but we was about to fight. We was about to tussle, okay? And I didn't get my points that week, so I didn't get to go out to eat. And then after that, I kept my damn points. But yeah, living there was crazy. There was this one girl, like, she had, I think she said she was there for 7 years. And I was like, I I was there for 6 months. She said 7 to 10 years she had been there since she was a particular age. And like, I was really curious about her situation. I said, you don't have a mom or a dad? She said, no. And she was always standing in the corner. Either she had a black eye from fighting somebody, or she was just, she had this weird ass stance that she would have. Like, and her favorite phrase was, I don't give a good goddamn. 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 Every time, everything was, I don't give a good goddamn. And she was standing in this weird ass awkward position. Like, some of them personalities in there, I was just like, woo. And like, when we didn't go up to the floor unit where the beds in the bedroom were until 8:30, 9:30 at night. So all morning, all day, we would sit at them steel tables. Either they was over there playing spades. Spades was a big thing while you was locked up in that joint. And it was either they was playing spades, arguing, fighting, and then we'd hear a fight, and all the staff would just, you would hear them thumping up above the floor. And I was like, that's the critical response team. They're going to go break up a fight. Or either they walkie-talkies was going crazy and they was running through the hallway because somebody was trying to AWOL, and they were trying to go get the child that was trying to AWOL the building. And they were like basically trying to bring them back. And so like there would be police bringing kids back that AWOL and went to like a family member's house that lived out there. Or it was all kind of stuff. Like when I lived there, it was like we were on the floor and I would ask like the staff members, this was a thing. All of us would have our time where we would be like, we would just like want to get off the floor from them silver metal tables and go on a walk and take a breath from sitting in that damn room all day. Because we would be in that damn room with them damn steel prison tables from like 8:30 in the morning all the way to 8:30 that night, just chilling, doing a bunch of nothing. Like you would get phone calls, or you'll be like, can I get my phone call? And they would take you into the office and let you make a phone call to a family member and speak to somebody. Like, it just kept your mind knowing that. And like, they really use prison term and jail terms, like on the outs, I can't wait till I get on the outs. I'm on the end, I can't wait till I get on the outs. Like, we was really like pretending to be in prison. Like, but I guess it was prison. I don't know. It was just like real weird, yo. So like, what was something else that used to go on there? Man, it was crazy behind them walls. Cause like, I never forget. So like, my camera about to die and I'm gonna come back. So something else that would go down there was like, some kids was like trying to take their life. Like, I remember this one girl, I don't remember her name, but I think she was bisexual or either gay. I don't remember what her sexual preference was, but I know she wasn't straight. She tried to take her life. I don't know if it was about a girl that stayed on another unit, but I know she took some pills one day, and there was staff members that sat at the end of the hallway, like in the middle of the hallway, and they sat there and they watched us, and they would call us by our last name. They never called us by our first name. Like, for instance, if you was running from your room to another person's room to go get contraband. Now, contraband was a thing. Like, if you took, like, for example, a guzzler from your tray and hid it in your clothes and brought it upstairs to have for later, that was contraband. If you took food that you didn't eat right then and there at lunch or dinner and hid it and wrapped it up and brought it in your room, it was contraband. Like, you weren't supposed to have none of that stuff on the floor. Everything you were supposed to eat was supposed to be downstairs. But one night, the resident, she took a whole bunch of pills and tried to off herself. And I just remember, like, one of the kids running to the staff member, Miss So-and-so, Miss So-and-so, what's they trying to take her life? So-and-so trying to take her life. And you see the critical response team running down the hallway, going in the room where she was at the end of the hallway, trying to like resuscitate her, and meanwhile call the ambulance. And you just saw her going out on the gurney, to the hospital. When she came back, she was talking about how she got pumped with black charcoal. Like, some of them kids just did not want to be there. They was there for a while. I was there for 6 months. I was a pretty good kid while I was there, except for that one fight that I had got into. Like, what? Oh, but the lunch trays, I had said something about the guzzlers. You had got a guzzler, like a Tony's mini pizza, and like maybe some mixed vegetables or something. Like that's what lunch was. Or maybe like a fried chimichanga and some other stuff, or some tater tots or something. It wasn't all that. Oh, there was this girl named Annika. She used to go crazy. Annika, and I'm gonna look her up and see if I can find her on Facebook, because I'll never forget her. I remember names when a personality stand out. She used to flip shit. When I say flip shit, I mean flip shit. Like, Annika was a diabetic, and they used to give her everybody used to get a regular tray, right? Annika was diabetic, so she couldn't have what we was eating. When I tell you they gave us our oatmeal flavored or with fruit in it or sugar or something like that, and then gave her the plain oatmeal with no sugar, and she used to flip shit. She used to be like, I don't want that shit. But do you eat your without no damn sugar? Give me some fucking sugar. Annika, you can't have that. You know you can't have that. We ain't finna get sued because we let you have sugar in your food or give you something you supposed to eat, and then now we shutting down and we ain't in business because you over here eating what you not supposed to eat. Like, she used to flip at every meal time. When I tell you, there was days when they would bring the lunch when we would bring the lunch downstairs, she used to be trying to sneak stuff off of people's tray, or whisper and be like, can I get that? Can I get that off your tray? You ain't gotta tell a staff member. Because whatever we had was sweet and whatever she had was unflavored, because they made her watch her calories and they would not give her nothing sugar like what we was eating. She always knew that her tray was different, of course, because she was on like a specific diet for her diabetes. When I tell you, there was days where we would come back to downstairs to them steel tables in that room to sit down and take our tray and eat, and she would take her tray and throw it across the freaking room. I kid you not, that we used to all just look around and be like, what? And they used to have to restrain her because she took her tray and threw it because she was mad because she was diabetic and she couldn't eat like diabetic stuff. Like, it was crazy. So like, man, after that, I was released, and I was released to a place that was for an independent living type situation for teenagers about to age out the system. That's gonna be the next situation I'll talk to y'all about. It's not really a story time, it's just basically history, so I'm not gonna call it a story time. But that was where I went next, and that's a story in itself. And it's crazy because when I went to the next facility, my social worker literally dropped me off and she said, look, when I take you here, if you mess up or don't do whatever it is they need you to do, I cannot help you. Which means you cannot call me because you're going to be aged out of the system. You're just basically on your own because you're finna be 18. So I basically didn't get it together and I was messed up. But that's going to be on the next home that I went to. And that is a little bit of if my life could talk. If my life could tell a story. So I will catch y'all on the next episode of the next home before the age out process. See y'all. Peace. So I just wanted to share with y'all some of this stuff that I'm reading. And this is so crazy. This girl Haley J, she was saying, I was sent to Lincoln Place when I was 12 in 2001. Definitely was not a positive experience. I was jumped constantly because I was one of the few white girls there. I was an easy target because a lot of the little girls assumed I had it better. Reverse racism is a thing. Damn, I remember listening to Avant and Silk and getting my hair braided by the girls that bullied me. I remember a crazy Jamaican woman who put me in a chicken wing and snapped my arm out of place. What? We were not people. We were numbers counting under every... The laundry room used to be a morgue. The boys' side, yep, because it was boys and we had to walk up the steps. I definitely didn't see this before I did my story time. But it's bringing back memories. To see it all destroyed. And it's people looking for people that used to be there. Wow. Y'all. Hold on, let me go down up some. I'm nosy. I'm trying to read what people say. What? Now, mind y'all, I told y'all that it was broke up in units. Here we go, right here. Hey, I was there in 2004. What unit was you on? The unit was like numbers. It was like A unit, B unit, C unit. And like I said, when they was on G unit, they were saying G unit. Now, I was here back in 2001. As bad as they're saying it wasn't that bad to me. Maybe because I sat off in the corner in the back and I always got my points. Hey Brandon, we were friends in there. We were on the same unit. I was there the whole time. You were. My name Mike Cole. Hey, give me a call. What? I'm gonna have to, y'all, this juicy. I was a resident of this place. I was beaten and molested and hurt by other girls and residents there on a daily. I was reading the article, but then I scrolled all the way down. Oh, shit. I didn't read this. I just was screenshotting the picture. My heart goes out to all the employees affected by this layoff. They have families, bills, and additional living expenses. This must have been when it first shut down. That will be greatly affected by this. The truth is, Carl Vacar, CEO, lives in a $1 million home. Ooh, so what I spoke on was right. So whatever rumor I heard, what must have been the truth. Y'all heard me speak about this in the video. The truth, Carl Vacar is Carl Vacar, or Vacar. I remember him. I remember his name being said a lot and them talking about him being a millionaire. The CEO lives in a $1 million home, 2-story car garage, RV, 2 Harley Davidson motorcycle shows, etc. He never invested any funds into the building. Oh, that's why it was shut down. The building living environment was not fit for a rat to live in. He and his wife were guilty of using those innocent children as pawns to support their lifestyle. They proclaim to be Christians, but we know Christians don't lie or steal or take money from people. What? That's crazy. The food that those residents were subjected to eat was a disgrace. Dog and cat food looked better and more edible. We was eating single Tony pizza and guzzlers though. I don't know. Maybe it changed after I left. The living environment was poor, molded walls, no air, old furniture, terrible flip-flops. Now, I told y'all the flip-flops we was wearing. I don't know what they talking about, but I mean, maybe I'm tripping because it's just flip-flops, but wow. Terrible flip-flops were given. Now, I showed y'all the flip-flops in the video. I'm just not reading this after I done recorded the video and edited it. Wow, I should have just read this first. Wow. They would have gotten better treatment in jail. I mean, it was ran like a jail, so yeah. This is interesting. I really wanted to come on here and show y'all the article. And it wasn't a healthcare, it was a children's residential center. This is like some of the broke down beds and what the beds look like. This was the bathroom. I guess some kind of peels or something. This the entrance that I showed y'all in the video. These is like some of the hallways. These is the hallways of like the bedrooms. Yeah. Wow. Yep, we used to use those large white vans to go to dinner and to a movie when we were there. That's what they used the vans for, to travel us back and forth from like dinner into a movie when we got all our points and stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, pretty much.